Here's more wrestling news for May 3rd, 2023, and we're starting with WWE. And for nearly 1,000 days, Roman Reigns has dispatched of every possible opponent thrown his way, with John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Edge, and Cody Rhodes all coming up short. While Reigns won't be competing at WWE Backlash this weekend, the company will need to come up with an opponent for him, and the executive chairman has some ideas. In a discussion with Give Me Sport, WrestleVotes revealed that McMahon had several ideas for Reigns' next challenger, but they didn't exactly go down well. We don't know who the chairman pitched, but it was said that some of the ideas were even scoffed at, and the creative team questioned how his pitched names made sense. Reports that AJ Styles would be Reigns' next challenger have been debunked, and it's been rumored that Randy Orton could be stepping up to the tribal chief as his return draws near. As the chairman, Vince McMahon can force who he wants into the world title picture, whether the creative team like it or not, and who do you want to see challenge the tribal chief next? Over the past few months, WWE has seen a lot of changes unfold, from the return of Vince McMahon to the acquisition with Endeavor that'll be finalized later this year. After this Sunday's Backlash Premium Live event, the recent WWE draft rosters will come into effect, and it's all getting to be a bit too much for some behind the scenes. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that things have been especially hectic as of late in the company, stating, "People are being told different things that change all the time. It's not like complete chaos, but there's a lot of chaos." That chaos backstage has already bled onto TV, with Bianca Belair recently referring to herself as the SmackDown Women's Champion following being drafted by the Blue brand. That comment was immediately backtracked upon by Michael Cole, and WWE has yet to confirm the women's title situation, but things are far from calm in WWE right now. Like we said, the results of the WWE draft won't come into effect until after this weekend's Backlash event, but it isn't just the superstars who have been moved. On WWE.com, the promotion quietly confirmed that the Raw and SmackDown ring announcers have been moved, and come this Monday, Samantha Irvin will be appearing on Raw. Mike Rome, on the other hand, will be appearing on SmackDown starting next week, as this new era will both look and sound different from what we've previously seen. Not everybody was drafted this week though, as there are no shortage of free agents who, for the time being, are eligible to appear on Raw and SmackDown. That's not good enough for Cedric Alexander though, as this week, the High Flyer took to Twitter to tease a return to NXT. More specifically, Alexander made it clear that he wants a shot at NXT North American champion Wes Lee, who has been willing to take on all comers so far. Alexander last appeared for NXT in October 2016, but with his future on the main roster at a standstill, now could be the right time for the Hurt Business alum to return to the Gold brand. Over to AEW, and the company is working to move on from last September's All Out fiasco, which resulted in champions being stripped and some of the top names in the company suspended. After CM Punk's explosive comments and the post-show fight backstage, everyone wanted to give their 2 cents on the matter, and EC3 went about doing that in a very direct way. Speaking on WrestleBinge, EC3 claimed that after All Out, he emailed Tony Khan, but stressed that he didn't do so looking for a job from the AEW president. Instead, EC3 said he gave Khan some words inspirational leadership, as he believes Khan may not have had someone showing that kind of support, but never got a response from TK. At this time, Tony Khan has not said whether EC3's claims are legitimate or not, but how would you have handled what happened after All Out 2022? Sound off in the comments. If you've watched Being the Elite, you'll know that Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and others on the show are never shy on referencing WWE, in stark contrast to how Vince McMahon does business. During the latest episode, the Elite once again made reference to the competition, but what was said on the show certainly raised some eyebrows. When Matt Jackson tried to explain the entire storyline between Hangman Page and the Elite to Konosuke Takeshita, the Japanese star admitted that his English is not the best and added that the Bloodline is much better. When Nick Jackson approached Kenny Omega over Takeshita's comments, the former AEW World Champion said that of course the Bloodline is better, adding that the Elite is just a cheap copy and that it's hard to believe what they're doing. While this was all tongue-in-cheek, these criticisms have come up against the Elite when fans have compared the group to the Bloodline, who have continued to dominate WWE for close to 3 years. Both factions have had a lot of success over the years, so it's hardly a surprise that fans have compared the two, but do you consider yourself All Elite? Or are you one of the many acknowledging the Bloodline as the superior faction? On this week's Raw, OMOS picked up momentum ahead of this Saturday's match with Seth Rollins by getting a dominant victory over an enhancement talent. The former Raw Tag Team Champion put away Anthony Alanis with ease during Raw, but some fans may have found the latest victim of the Nigerian giant to be very familiar. As Sean Ross Sapp pointed out, Alanis has worked under the name of Adrian Alanis for AEW and has had at least 20 appearances for AEW Dark, though is often coming up on the losing end of things. Alanis can usually be found teaming up with Liam Gray, another AEW Dark veteran, who also appeared on this week's Raw, acting as a security guard during the confrontation between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. You never know who's going to show up on Raw, as this week's episode showed. And while these aren't the AEW megastars WWE reportedly have their eyes on, it's interesting that there was an all-elite presence on Raw. From 2020 to 2022, WWE released a ton of people as part of what were explained at the time as necessary budget cuts, an odd excuse at a time when the company was making record profits. When Triple H took over as head of talent, the game brought back a lot of the names released, and now one name from NXT UK could be the next to return. PW Insider Elite reports that Shaw Samuels was spotted at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando this week, though the report didn't state why. It is believed, though, that Samuels was doing some coaching at the center, as in March, the ex-superstar informed his Instagram followers that he had served as a guest coach at the center already. Samuels was hired in 2021 and would often appear with real-life friend Noam Dar before his release in 2022, and we'll have to see if he is indeed the next name to return to the company. And we're ending today with Zelina Vega, who this weekend will compete for the SmackDown Women's Championship in the biggest match of her career to date. Vega is certainly the underdog as she prepares for her match with Rhea Ripley, but this match would never have happened if not for the intervention of The Rock. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Vega explained that there was a time when she was seriously considering quitting wrestling and said that she was ready to hang up her boots after her 7th WWE tryout. When Vega randomly bumped into The Rock, she explained how she was feeling, and the Great One urged her to keep going, adding that he had something in the works that she would be interested in. That project ended up being the Saraya biopic, Fighting With My Family, and Vega would be cast as AJ Lee in a role that would prove to be a turning point for her career in entertainment and in wrestling. Had Vega not shared her feelings to The Rock, odds are that her program with Andrade, being crowned queen, becoming tag team champions, and her role in the LWO would have never happened, and things clearly worked out for the best for Zelina Vega.